Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Rima Kumari, faculty member of Botany Department, Pune University, Pune. Today, I am going to deliver a lecture on topic genetic engineering to establish a C4 metabolism in C3 plants for crop improvement. This topic is very important and informative for us. I hope this lecture will be very useful for students and research scholars. So first of all, I would like to explain introduction. As we know that a new green revolution is needed in world agriculture to increase crop yields for food. Because gains from conventional breeding approach are less than world population growth. Carbon dioxide, methane, and other greenhouse gases cause global warming. However, photosynthesis is the single most effective natural regulator of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere. So it is timely to consider what new opportunities exist in the current omics era to engineer increases in photosynthesis. Moreover, significant enhancement of photosynthesis and grain yield in C3 plants occurs due to insertion of C4 genes into C3 plants. Therefore, rapid improvements in crop productivity are necessary to ensure continued food security by establishing C4 metabolism in C3 plants through genetic engineering. Here question arises why we need to establish C4 metabolism into C3 plants. Because C4 plants have high photosynthetic rates, high growth rates at high temperature. It also has low rates of water loss. The main characteristics of C4 plants is that it has two types of photosynthetic cells, that is mesophyll cells and bundle seed cells. These both cells surround vascular bundles in a ring-like structure. This is called Cranch anatomy. Due to presence of Cranch anatomy in C4 plants, it concentrates carbon dioxide around rubisco and finally stops photorespiration. C4 plants also have high economic yields, high water and nitrogen use efficiency. It has also environmental stress protection, especially in drought conditions. Now, difference between C3 and C4 plants. Cranch anatomy is absent in C3 plants while present in C4 plants. CO2 is to ATP is to NADPH ratio is 1 is to 3 is to 2 in case of C3 plants, while in case of C4 plant it is 1 is to 5 is to 2. Carboxylating enzyme in case of C3 plants is ribulose 1,5-bis-phosphate carboxylate, while in case of C4 plants, mesophyll cells contain phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase and bundle seed cells contain ribulose 1,5-bis-phosphate carboxylase. The initial CO2 acceptor of C3 plants is ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate, but in case of C4 plant is phosphoenol pyruvate. First stable product of C3 plant is 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde and in case of C4 plant is oxaloacetate. The optimum temperature for photosynthesis in C3 plant is 15 to 25 degrees Celsius, while 30 to 40 degrees Celsius in case of C4 plants. CO2 compensation point is 30 to 70 ppm in case of C3 plants but 0 to 10 ppm in case of C4 plants. Photorespiration present in C3 plants, but not easily detectable in C4 plants. Calvin cycle occurs alone in C3 plants, while in C4 plant it occurs along with Hatch and Slack cycle. Some example of C3 plants are rice, wheat, potato, and soybean, etc. And C4 plants are maize, sugarcane, and sorghum. Now approaches. There are mainly three approaches for establishing C4 metabolism in C3 plants for crop improvement through genetic engineering. First one, overexpression of C4 genes into C3 plants. Second one, improving Rubisco performance, which includes evolutionary engineering of Rubisco bundle seed cells, that is classical breeding approach, and genetic engineering of Rubisco bundle seed cell plants. Third one is delaying leaf senescence. Now point to come on first approach, that is overexpression of C4 genes into C3 plants. As we know that rice is most stable food crop and C3 plants. However, maize has the C4 photosynthetic pathway to achieve higher photosynthetic performance and high water and nitrogen use efficiency, which finally leads to rapid growth rates, higher dry matter production, and larger economic yields than C3 plants. Some examples of maize genes encoding C4 enzymes are phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase, pyruvate orthophosphate dikinase, and NADP malic enzymes. This is research articles which is published by Bandyopadhyay and co-workers in Plant Science in 2007. In this study, they introduced intact maize Pepsi gene into indica rice by biolistic transformation method. After that, integration of the gene was confirmed by PCR and Southern analysis. Then RT-PCR and Northern blotting showed expression of the gene at RNA level in transgenic plants. They found 9% transformed showed abnormal morphological and physiological characteristics, but significant enhancement of photosynthesis occurred in transgenic rice without any improvement of yield. बंदोपाध्याय के स्टडी के अकॉर्डिंग इन्होंने पेप्सी जीन को ट्रांसफर किया राइस में, तो इन्होंने पाया कि 9% जो ट्रांसजेनिक बना वो फेल हो गया, एबनॉर्मल मिला उन्हें, लेकिन फोटोसिंथेटिक रेट जो है इंक्रीज किया, लेकिन यील्ड में कोई इम्प्रूवमेंट नहीं हुआ. नाउ अनदर केस स्टडी. This research article is published by Rangan et al. In 2016. They expressed a high level of maize C4 specific Pepsi gene in wheat. They found that high grain yield increased up to 25 to 50% in transgenic plants in comparison to wild type weeds. मतलब राघवन इटेल ने पेप्सी जीन को व्हीट में जब ट्रांसफर किया तो इन्होंने पाया कि फोटोसिंथेसिस जो रेट है हमारा वो इंक्रीज किया, साथ साथ में 25 to 50% यील्ड भी बढ़ा. नाउ अनदर केस स्टडी. Zhang et al. In 2010 introduced maize C4PPDK gene in indica rice, namely IR64. They observed the expression of C4PPDK in most transgenic rice resulted in increased CO2 accumulation rates in comparison to untransformed control plants. Now Rubisco. as we know that Rubisco is the most abundant protein on earth. Rubisco has two types of subunits, 8 large subunit and 8 small subunits. Large subunit is encoded by chloroplast genome and a small subunit is encoded by nuclear genome. The binding site of ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate is large subunit of Rubisco. Now, second approach is improving Rubisco performance. For this purpose, to increase amount of Rubisco, we have also to increase copy number of gene. After that, alteration of amino acid at or near the active site favors the carboxylation. Rubisco of C4 plants has faster rates of carboxylation but higher sensitivity to O2 in comparison to Rubisco of C3 plants. This diagram represents evolutionary engineering of Rubisco bundle seed cell plants. For this purpose, first of all, we seeds from Rubisco bundle seed cell plants are treated with a mutagen. Example, ethyl methane sulfonate, and then produces M1 plants. After that, M2 plants are produced by selfing of M1 plants. Then crossing of M2 plants and screening is followed by a screening artificial selection method. Here we can see that EMS mutagenesis and mutation accumulation leads to increased adaptive variation. Now, genetic engineering of Rubisco bundle seed cell plants. This diagram represents how to produce Rubisco in bundle seed cell plants. For this purpose, BLSB heterozygous plants of tDNA insertion line is used as a starting point for expression of RLSB cDNA by using bundle seed cell specific promoter. After transformation, transgenic plants express RLSB only in case of bundle seed cell, but not in case of mesophyll cells. Now, another approach is delaying leaf senescence. According to Thala et al., genetic manipulation of phytohormone synthesis also delays leaf senescence and increases photosynthesis in many crops. Example for anti-sense suppression of ethyl biosynthesis delays leaf senescence in tomato. Second one, genetic manipulation of cytokinin synthesis delays leaf senescence in tobacco. Third one, cytokinin synthesis also delays dark-induced senescence in rice. Further, it is reported that introduction of farnesyl transferase and isophentyl transferase genes delays senescence and increases photosynthesis in many crops. This review article is published by me in Journal of Cell and Tissue Research in 2017. For more study, you can see this article by Google searching or from ResearchGate link in PubMed. These are the references. Thanks for attending this lecture.